Have you ever wondered why diamonds are worth so much money? And if they are worth so much, would you like to know where to look to find them? Well, in today's video, I'm going to answer those questions, because if you've never thought about looking for diamonds in nature, this video will change your mind. In case you didn't know, there are still many fortunes lost in nature in the form of diamonds. And if you know where to look, you could be the next lucky person to find them. Hard to believe? Well, look at this. See that ugly rock appearing on your screen right now? This is the third largest diamond ever found in history, weighing in at 1,758 carats and about the size of a tennis ball. Such a stone would certainly go unnoticed by the untrained eye. Interestingly, this diamond has been valued at up to $19 million in its rough state. In other words, knowing where to look for diamonds is the kind of information that can really change your life forever, not least because it's more likely to find a diamond than win the lottery. But ironically, did you know that the best way to find real diamonds in nature is not to look for them? Sounds a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? But you'll understand now, because in case you didn't know, there are a lot of people who venture out in search of diamonds, and they know this secret. And although finding gems is no easy task, especially when it comes to diamonds, there are some secret ways to identify the areas most likely to have diamonds that few people know about. So if you're lucky enough to live in a country that's considered a major diamond producer, it's a lot easier, and you have a much better chance of finding them in the wild. That's why it's important for you to understand that the most productive diamond areas in the world are on the African continent, in Asia, North America, and Oceania. In many of the countries on these continents that I've mentioned, not enough exploration and prospecting has been done to find diamonds in the wild, which means that if you're lucky, there may be diamonds in these unexplored regions. So the best advice I can give you is to start looking in areas where diamonds are known to exist. Along with the tips you're about to learn, combining patience with a pinch of luck. If you do that, you're sure to find diamonds in the wild. So stick with me for a few more minutes, because you're going to find out where these magnificent stones are hidden. In the old days, there was no internet, so information was scarce, forcing the prospectors of the time to discover things on their own. And after more than a century of exploring for secondary deposits, the miners discovered the existence of a special, previously unknown rock that contained diamonds. This particular rock is the famous kimberlite. Have you ever heard of it? In case you didn't know, kimberlite is the matrix rock of diamonds, which means that inside a kimberlite rock there may be hidden diamonds. But where does kimberlite come from? We've shown in other videos here on the channel that kimberlite is actually lava that comes out of the depths of the earth. It ejects the diamond. When this lava cools, the diamonds get trapped inside. Over many years, the exposed part of this structure is exposed to the elements: cold, heat, wind, sun, and rain. This begins a process of fragmentation of the kimberlite, releasing the trapped minerals and forming a characteristic soil rich in phosphorus, potassium, and magnesium. This aggregate of minerals contains a high concentration of feldspar, about 85%. Kimberlite is therefore one of the most difficult rocks to mine and process, as the high percentage of feldspar makes it extremely difficult to break. In fact, kimberlite is one of the hardest rocks on the planet and is the most abundant volcanic rock in the depths of the earth. Its hardness makes it an excellent material for tooling and manufacturing.
Of holding a real diamond in my hand here. Yes, I am shaking. This is a real diamond on kimberlite.
When they discovered which rock contained the diamonds, the world's diamond production potential increased greatly. This means that kimberlite is one of the best rocks to find diamonds in nature. The question is, how do you go about finding kimberlite? And here's the first tip. Stephen Haggart, a professor of geophysics at Florida International University, discovered a kind of natural beacon for the presence of kimberlite rock. A specific plant, similar to a palm tree, scientifically called Pandanus candelabrum. This plant loves to grow in soils derived from kimberlite because they are rich in essential minerals such as potassium, phosphorus, and magnesium. This means that this particular plant has become a beacon of kimberlite rock. Another curiosity about this plant is that scientists have discovered that Pandanus candelabrum could not only serve as a living sign for prospectors, but could also minimize some of the environmental impacts caused by diamond mining and even make diamond mining less expensive. Since companies would now be able to focus on a specific location, only the kimberlite pipes, which are now much easier to find. Recently, there have been rumors that other plants here in the United States are associated with kimberlite regions, but nothing has been scientifically proven. That's why it's a good idea to keep an eye out, as this is not the only way to identify them. It's quite possible that there are kimberlitos in your area, so keep an eye out during your adventures. Other than that, it's worth remembering that in order to locate kimberlites, you can access the geological data available from the ANM, the National Mining Agency, which allows you to identify kimberlite regions that have already been confirmed by government studies. So if you find a video about accessing this information interesting, comment, "I want to," and say what country you're from. A very interesting curiosity is that according to scientists, diamonds are precious stones that form in the deepest parts of the earth and take much longer to form by natural processes. So it follows that diamonds are more likely to be found in the oldest geological terrains. Among these super ancient terrains are Africa, Australia, and Canada. As you can see, the discovery of the mother rock of diamonds was a major breakthrough in mining. But I must remind you that of all the known kimberlites in the world, only about 10% have diamonds, and only 1% have enough diamonds to cover the costs of large-scale mining. Now, you may be frustrated by the fact that even if you know where the kimberlite is, you're still unlikely to be able to mine it, beyond knowing whether it's productive or not. And frankly, without the heavy and sophisticated machinery of the big mining companies, such an operation is not feasible. But who says it's the only way? That doesn't mean you can't benefit from that information. The location of a kimberlite can be used as an indicator to look for diamonds close to their natural source, and that's what this is all about. The mere fact that there is kimberlite in your area is enough to potentially increase your chances of a successful mine or adventure. So rejoice, because as already mentioned, the forces of nature are in our favor. Don't forget that in the old days, diamond mining was done with rudimentary equipment such as scythes and paddles on the banks of rivers, without half the technology and knowledge we have today. And even then, this method was successful for many centuries, even without the knowledge we have today about primary deposits. In addition, the forces of nature have worn down tons of kimberlite over time, scattering diamonds and all other minerals over the face of the earth through the forces of water, especially torrential rains, which washed many fragments of productive kimberlite into the rivers. Well, here we begin to talk about the next way of prospecting for diamonds in nature, which is through simpler and more accessible methods. And historically, it is more than proven that diamond mining has been successful using simple tools to process the gravel deposited at the bottom of rivers and streams or on mountain slopes. This type of mining was and is possible thanks to secondary diamond deposits, also known as alluvial deposits. And speaking of alluvial deposits, they are without a shadow of a doubt one of the best places for you to find diamonds in nature, and the most affordable too compared to kimberlite. The term alluvial deposits refers to their origin, which in short is the accumulation of several layers of sediment that have compacted to form a new terrain, concentrating many diamonds that have been torn from their primary deposits or matrix rock and washed into valleys and rivers by rainwater over thousands of years. This type of terrain can be seen mainly along the course of old rivers that have dried up and also in the deltas of some still active rivers. As a result of the great floods, the water level reaches the highest part of their banks and consequently leaves behind heavier sediments and minerals when they recede. Even though they are already very compacted, these sites are relatively easy to excavate and process. Considering a small-scale prospecting activity or just as a hobby, these deposits are the second best place to successfully find diamonds in nature. It's important to remember that in order to scale up this type of mining, you may need to invest a little, dig deeper to transport the material to where there is plenty of water. But even so, comparing the three options, I believe that the best place to find diamonds in the wild are the sediment ravines accumulated along ancient rivers. In other words, your goal is to venture out in search of diamonds as a form of distraction and hobby without the need for major investment. So start by visiting the active rivers and streams, preferably during the rainy season, when new material is brought in and new canyons and slopes are exposed. Look for bends in the river or where the river loses power due to an obstruction. You can also look for natural cauldrons that form in the bedrock. These are interesting places to look for diamonds and other gems, such as rubies and sapphires. Of course, for your own safety and to get to the bottom of the river more easily, wait for the water to calm down and lower its level. As you can see, there are 3 of the best places to find diamonds in the wild. And no matter which form of mining you choose, it will all depend on your dedication combined with a pinch of luck. But before the prospectors and card-carrying geologists come and criticize in the comments, I'm not saying that finding diamonds is easy. After all, if it was, it wouldn't be so rare and valued in the gemstone market. However, it is possible. So if you feel like looking for diamonds, if possible, consult an experienced geologist or prospector in your area. However, if you don't have either at your disposal, I leave you with our digital gemology book for beginners, where you can learn to identify all the stones you find in nature with home tests without the need for expensive equipment. However, make it your main goal to have fun and relax on nature walks and hikes. And if you're lucky, win a few $1 million with the discovery of a rare diamond. It's unlikely, but not impossible. Also, did you know that diamonds aren't the most valuable gemstone in the world? Well, I assure you that if you look in the places I've mentioned, you can find gems that are just as valuable, if not more valuable, than a diamond. In fact, there are more than 5 gemstones with a market value higher than any diamond ever found. Watch this video and you'll understand it all. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, gem hunters.